Hi everyone, it's Kate here. Today I will be presenting my redesign concept for Cromwell Street campus. So firstly, before I quickly start with the presentation boards, the overwhelming response that we had back in terms of feedback was that everyone believed it was a little bit too feminine with the pink. So what I've done is remove the pink from the design, and instead I've replaced it with a blue colour or a tone of blue, which I feel will make the design more gender neutral and therefore can cover all disciplines, whether it be graphic design, interior design, and the likes. So, all right, so going over again the campus redesign, obviously being educational design, the main elements that I felt was necessary to update, as we've been advised, was a quiet study area, the co-working space, the kitchen, and the reception area. So what I've done, as you can see on the top right-hand side, there's a copy of the floor plan there for 67 to 69 Cromwell Street, and outlined in each of the areas that has been updated is the new floor plan. So on approach or on entry to the new Cromwell Street campus, the first thing that visitors and staff and students will see is what you can see on the left-hand side. So this is my perspective render using Photoshop and also Revit for the entry or the reception. The most important elements about it, obviously, is that it is the main space or the first place that people come. So it's the first impression that they get. So I wanted it to be warm and welcoming. I wanted them to feel comfortable and quite homely. And obviously, being that it is the permanent place of the student services representative, it needed to be somewhere that they also felt comfortable and that was safe for them in terms of there was storage and there was accessibility in and out. It was, you know, manoeuvrable for people still, you know, whether you're able-bodied or not. So what I've done is there's a curved desk which sits centre stage in the middle of the room, really lovely, using recycled timber battening. It's got a terrazzo top, and then behind there's all basically under-shelf storage, so, and it's all lockable in this really beautiful turmeric kind of tone. The back wall being yellow is very mellow, very bright, so when people walk in, I want them to be happy and to be excited and feel refreshed. Additionally to that, using the most of the natural light, I've incorporated the vertical wall or vertical wall. So that is living, and it does have inbuilt irrigation, so the student services person wouldn't need to worry about that year round, it'd be okay. And there's also a small seating area for people that are waiting or students that are just, you know, having a chat with the student services rep. So that's the main reception area. As you can see in the renders that I've got just on the right-hand side, the elevations, there you can see in through the glass windows into the building, so you can see the light, you can see the reception desk, you can see the chairs, and there's also the Collarts logo, which I've incorporated at the end of the ramp, which is vertical. So it's painted saying Collarts, and then laid on top of that is actually a neon, so a custom-made neon that lights up as well. So that's the reception area. Before I forget about that, I probably should say the design statement. So going back over the brief and after the feedback and everything else, I've gone into what I think is the best way to explain, you know, what the design is and what the relevancy of it is. So the core of the brief was to update the campus facilities and to align the space with the rest of the Collarts brand, encapsulating the personality of both the staff and the students, as well as all elements which make the Cromwell Street campus unique. The space needed to be inviting, warm, and just a little bit bold also. So focusing on the idea of this inviting, timeless design, which has a playful colour palette, the concept stands proud by itself on its own. The integrity of the design has been achieved through the use of selected materials, each chosen for a specific reason. The design uses modern clean lines and bold colours, contrasted against natural organic elements to create a sense of harmony and balance. So what I've done is just a breakdown along the bottom part of the presentation board, which shows all the materials and the colours that are being used. So if I quickly run through those, that's the terrazzo, the tan or really beautiful tan buttery leather, reclaimed timber bassoning. There will be a light element, which is also neon, as well as acrylic elements throughout. A velvet, which is coated so that it's water resistant, stain resistant. The concrete flooring, and then the colours which are included, which according to Pantone colours, there's one called Mojito Magic there, which is this mango-y colour. There's a really beautiful yellow, just a bit more like turmeric. There's a really beautiful ochre-y reddy brown, and then this azure blue. So having a look at each of the spaces just quickly, what I've done is a perspective as well as an elevation for most of them, if not all of them. So if we look in the top left-hand side at the perspective render for the quiet study room, this was the option that was chosen by everyone, and that is so that it makes the most of the space by using banquet seating. We can accommodate 12 to 15 people, 10 to 15 people at a time. So what I wanted it to be was a space where people can go and use, obviously after hours, as well as when they're on campus and within the business hours. So what I've incorporated there, as you can see in the bottom left-hand side, is the swipe keycard entry so that people can get in and out. So it's incorporating these new kind of technologies and things. It obviously reads who that is for security purposes for the campus. Again, using this lighting to make the most of the space and really to pump it up. I found these incredible, it's called pipeline lights. So as you can see in the elevation just above the Collarts logo, the actual light itself is about 1.8 metres long, and they're kind of moving, so they're quite organic in form. They can be hung straight, they can be hung on angles. But this one in particular is really beautiful. It's used a black powder coated, it's actually acrylic, I shouldn't say that. It's actually acrylic tube, but it's really beautiful. So that's kind of for the space what I wanted to do, as well as using this central dining table, which has inbuilt PowerPoints underneath so that people can charge their phones and laptops and different things. It's a space that people can, make the most of themselves, or they can study with a group. It's really great area. And then if you're looking at the top right hand side, we've got the co-working space. So the co-working space is obviously open to staff and students, alumni, as well as industry. So I wanted it to be a space which is a little bit more neutral. That being said, it's really inviting and really warm. So using natural timbers with the buttoning, which would be in the cabinetry that's built in. Really lovely, like luxurious kind of vintage looking rug, a lovely oversized kind of couch that is modular, it can be broken into 2 bits, as well as an armchair, and then the use of smaller dining chairs at the table. So ultimately the tables, there's 3 individual ones that can be pushed together to make one long, large one. The placement of the lights have been made specifically where they are, so that even when the tables are pushed together, the lights are covered in, so you don't have to worry about anyone hitting them or anything like that. And then looking at the last part is the shared kitchen. So the shared kitchen, I felt again with making it quite gender neutral, it uses really warm tones, really comfortable, kind of sumptuous, this buttery leather, the really lovely oak, as well as the more feminine little bits and elements of the terrazzo, these really lovely globe lights which are hanging that have brass detailing, and then the concrete floor kind of juxtaposing against that, as well as the selection of the furniture, which is really quite warm. There's again upholstery, there's timber, it's really lovely. And then in that I've also used this really beautiful pop of art, this piece by Dina Broadhurst, that kind of pulls out these colours that's quite poppy and fresh and young, much like the students and staff that are at Collar. So I hope that you love my presentation. I hope you love the concept. I'm really proud of it, and it's gotten a long way to develop where it is up to today, and hopefully it would be something on your radar for potentially investing in. Thank you so much. I hope you'll have a lovely day.